Hariam everyone, welcome to this class on the basics of Sanatana Dharma. Today we will be looking at the sadhana aspect of our journey. So we'll start with the chanting first. I'll share on screen. You can chant at your end. Because of Zoom limitations, we can't chant together. That is the ideal way to go. ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ गणानां त्वा गणपतिगं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमम् ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पत आन शृण्वन्नोतिभिः सीदसादनम् ॐ श्रीमहागणपतये नमः सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणि विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः. So we are doing this series where we are learning about some of the basics of Sanatana Dharma. We have seen different aspects about what is our dharma, what is Vineet, you're asking about where you share the recordings. We record it onto YouTube. You can check my name, otherwise I can share you the link. So if at the end of the meeting you can give me your number, we can even add you to the group if you want. And there we share the links. But on YouTube you can just look up Yogesh Malhotra, and if you find it, then well and good. Otherwise you can connect with me. Okay. So now we have looked at the initial part of it, what is our dharma, and then we looked at sadachar. We also looked at the right way to behave. Then we also looked at our scriptural vastness, and through that, the different passages by which we reach the position where we can connect to the nature around us, connect to the universe around us, and be one with it, which is in essence the spirit of yajna. So the last few classes we were looking at how to do a simple Agnihotra Yajna and its secret, the essence behind it. So now, what is the next part? Once we do Yajna, even in that state of doing it, we feel that internal connection, that connection to the higher, that connection to something that is more divine than us, something that has more to offer to us than all of our worldly pursuits. Right. So this sadhana, this connecting is not to something external to us. It is to our own true higher nature, our own infinite nature, which is described in the scriptures as Atma, the soul. The oneness of the soul is propounded. There is only one Param Atma, and we are all non-different from it. So that connection, for it to be established, we are constantly distracted, right? We do that yajna in that state. We feel wonderful, we feel good, and we come out of that with a sankalpa also, because yajna is what? Basically a sankalpa to do a karma, right? So one yajna is for mental purification. So there the sankalpa is that may I remain in this state of higher bliss at all times, right? And therefore yajna takes you to that level. But when we go out and interact in the world, then the focus, it gets shifted. We get shifted to the vasanas. So the basic process of sadhana is to keep us in that frame while doing all our works, so that we be most effective in doing what we are doing while doing it, right? So purpose of sadhana is not to move away or run away from the world, or to go to some place where there are no other people, and we just meditate. Yeah, so that is just the initial part. But the basic purpose of all sadhana is freedom, right? It's to gain the highest level of freedom. So it depends on where my association is. मैं कहाँ पे फंसा हुआ हूँ या फंसी हुई हूँ, इस पे डिपेंड करता है. It depends where I am trapped. So I have to go beyond that trapping to that highest in the level of Atma. But initially, even if that is not possible for us, we have to see that where does my association limit my freedom. there is, I read in school, we had a class, we had the rule of the road. So there, the very beautiful line where it was said that my freedom ends where your freedom begins. Right. So that in that sense, I have to limit my freedom. The freedom is what? To indulge my own body or my mind desires, right? So if those desires they impinge on the desires of other people, then it will harm us, it will stop us, it will regulate us or it will limit us. हमें सीमित कर देता है, वही हमारा दायरा रह जाता है. That becomes a boundary for us. So to move out of that boundary, we have to learn to associate with the people of us, people around us. And we learn that naturally through the social structure, through the system where we are associated with the family. So when we are parents in early on, they teach us to share and they teach us to give to our siblings. So once we initially we are reluctant, मैं क्यों दूं? Why should I give up something that belongs to me? But when we learn the joy of sharing, that is the beginning point of our journey, where we learn that where the bigger I make my circle, the more my joy increases, because that is the ultimate aim of sadhana, reaching the state of bliss, ultimate joy. Yeah. The state of maximum happiness. Swami Chinmayanand regularly used to say, maximum happiness for maximum people at the maximum time. That is the goal of Vedanta. So therefore, to go into that situation, to go for that state, we need to enter into sadhana, right? We need to enter into a learning of the true nature. That is why in Vedanta, meditation is not taught right away. First, you have to learn what you are meditating on. Making the mind blank is not meditation. Making the mind blank means only that you have removed your vasanas for a short time. The moment you go back into the world, they will come rushing back, and with more vigor, more power than they were than when you had not suppressed them. So suppression is not the answer. So through sadhana, we have to learn that suppression has to be avoided. We have to wake up to the logic, the reasoning, the understanding of our nature, so that whatever we are doing after that, it flows naturally. अपने आप आएगा. So when I consider my whole family as an extension of myself, I'm willing to sacrifice a lot of things for them. I'm willing to do. And that is the basis of all Vedic living. So when we learn to sacrifice, when we learn to give up, people don't understand. They said, Mira, someone suffered, that person suffered, this person suffered. No, they choose to put their priorities as whatever is essential for me, जो मेरे लिए जरूरी है, मैं करूं. But मेरे लिए बहुत ज्यादा नहीं है. I don't need too much. So I whatever extra the nature has given me, that should be spread out, right? So then in sadhana, what is the next? Good. So what is the next stage that we go when we go into dhyanam? When I see all of you have done this thing, though you are very, very aware of it all. So it helps when you have that starting base, right? And so we have to keep building on that base, because it is not something that is like we have acquired. It is something inner to us. It is our nature of soul, our nature of oneness is ingrained within us. It expresses in every interaction. You go out, you see a dog, you want to feed it. So anything you do, it comes from within only, right? So that humanity or that human nature is ingrained within us. We just have to build it to the essence where we can extend it. So if I am associated with my family, my freedom is wider. It is limited. It extends to the whole family, then to the village, then to the city, then to the country, and ultimately to the whole universe. Other countries are not supposed to be our enemies. Other religions are not supposed to be my enemies. If there is another religion or another philosophy that is trying to limit us, then our goal is not to do the same to that other. Our goal is not to see other as other, but something that has come in our way because our own sadhana was lacking. हमारी साधना में कमी थी, इसलिए ईश्वर ने भेजा कि नहीं, तुम भी फॉलो करो. It is because we give up our sadhana, because we give up our path, that other paths tend to obstruct us, right? So if you have to stay to the good path, stay to the right path, stay to the Vedic path, then we have to होल्ड ऑन टू आवर धर्म. ये ऐसे नहीं चलेगा. हाँ, तो एक बार पूजा कर ली हफ्ते में, डू occasional worship, occasional puja. No, our panch mahayagya, that you have to do daily. You have to do the 5 offerings into the fire. Huh? Om Brahmanebhya Swaha, Om Devebhya Swaha, Om Rishibhya Swaha. Huh? And then Om Pitribhya Swaha, Om Narebhya Swaha, Rishibhya and Brahmanebhya same, sorry. So, and then finally Om Bhutebhya Swaha. So, I have so many duties. I have a rinam. We have seen this multiple times in earlier classes. मेरा एक कर्ज है. I have a debt to the whole universe for all the things that I attain from them. And to give up that, to pay that debt, I have to give back. So the first one, the the Brahman Rin or Rishi Rina is the one about the debt I owe to my teacher. So I daily owe it to myself to keep learning something new. कुछ ना कुछ नया सीखते रहें, कुछ ना कुछ नया जानते रहें. So once I keep learning, then that helps in my journey. It makes me more powerful, or it makes me more capable of handling the obstacles that come in my journey. So once I go into this sadhana, I have to understand first thing. We usually do everything or most things just for some kind of desire, fulfillment of some desire. So a lot of people think that if I can do sadhana, I can attain some siddhi, some shakti, some special, qualities. So that is not to be the right way. The siddhis will come naturally, right? But the nature has limited it also, our attainment of those siddhis according to our bhava, according to what kind of emotion we have, or the kind of feeling we have, and what we are going to do with that siddhi. Siddhi will come, no doubt. If you're going to have a sattvic vasana, if you're going to want to do something good, you want to be a doctor, you want to help people. So then you do the Dhanvantri sadhana, or whatever sadhana you do for attaining clear knowledge about becoming a doctor. And once you do that, your powers will increase. Nature will itself guide you. Through experimentation, you will learn what herbs will help more, what kind of medicines will help more, what kind of treatment will help more. It will come internally from you. That siddhi will happen. Same way with this adhyatmic siddhi also. So adhyatmic siddhi also increases, but if we have to use that siddhi for our own personal good, then it will wither away with time. आएगा जरूर. हाँ, आपने साधना किया, you have done sadhana. It is not that it will not come. हाँ, you have done japa, you have done patha, you have done meditation on a particular aspect that you want to perfect. But that will come, but it will not last long. So therefore, we have to understand that our goal should be mainly about giving back to the universe, giving, connecting to the my higher nature, increasing my knowledge, and through that we will automatically gain siddhi. Just think, if you want to do something good in the universe, you want to help people, अपने आप resources आ जाते हैं. On our own, no, people start joining us. We do a sankalpa. I want to feed 100 people who are hungry. You just start, and so many people will join you. अपने आप लोग आ जाते हैं join करने के लिए. So for that thing to happen, for that kind of sankalpa to come, you have to have a wider love. You have to have a wider love for all beings. And once that happens, siddhis will always come. So we don't have to keep the siddhi as a target. We have to keep our target of doing, purifying our mind, right? To purifying our mind. So for that, there are different procedures that are given in the Shastras. We'll look at them. So whatever we do, then it helps us to make our mind sharper, our intellect more focused, and therefore we are able to retain more. So our Sanskriti is more about purifying the mind. All our Shastras, they were supposed to be taught verbally. People memorize them. Right. So, like if you would have heard or read about history, so wherever the certain civilizations were prosperous and doing well, they had a lot of literature through which they were able to, store their experiences. It was written down in books, right? But the moment someone wanted to conquer them, like the Islam wanted to initially Christians wanted to conquer the initial pagan empire. So whatever the Roman Empire and all. So what they had to do, they had to hit their intellectual property. So they attacked their books, they burned their books, and thereby they destroyed them. ज्ञान चला गया है ना. But when the same way Islam also attacked back then, they also burned our books. They came here. But what the obstacle they faced, we have our knowledge is not always stored in the books only. It is stored in the mind. One Vedic has taught to 1,000 students. They will carry it again and multiply it. So if there are 5,000 Vedikas who know the Shastra, then how can they kill all of them? How can they destroy? So it was not easy. So that is how knowledge is supposed to be propagated. I'll just digress to a short story if I can quickly say it. So there is a story about Bhagwan Shankaracharya, and one of his favorite students was Padmapada. So Padmapada was a brilliant student. When Bhagwan Bhashyakar, he wrote Bhashya on the Brahma Sutras, which is very esoteric and very deep text. So he wrote a Bhashya. So then he later asked Padmapada to write a tika, a tippani, or a tika on that, which is a commentary on the Bhashya. So Bhashyam is a commentary, you can say it is a sub-commentary on that. And he wrote that, and then he asked him that, have you completed? He said, fine, yes, I've done it. And then he asked him to recite a bit of it. So he recited the first part out of four. And Bhagwan Shankaracharya heard it and said, it's excellent. You must fully write it down. He said, I have written it down and I will recite to you the rest also. So right now I have some family obligations. I have to go to my village. And then he went to his village. And there what happened was he was staying with his uncle, Mamaji. And this Mamaji, he was very expert in Mimamsa Shastra. So now when he engaged with Padmapada, he felt that this guy is brilliant and he will destroy all this karma kanda and whatever we are practicing. So he thought that I must somehow get rid of his knowledge. So he asked him, so where is this written? So he said, I have written in my book. So he showed him the book. So he said, this is a very nice book. So you are going ahead also for some other work. So he was supposed to go somewhere on a further pilgrimage. So he said, why don't you go ahead and leave this book here with me? And then I will keep it and read it, and I will be able to know everything that you have written. So Padmapadacharya, he went ahead and he left that book there. So this Mamaji, he felt like this knowledge is going to harm us in the long run. People will stop doing karma kanda. He didn't understand that the knowledge part is not contradictory to karma kanda. Karma kanda is developing the mind, and adhyatmic knowledge is remaining established in my highest nature. So they are not anti each other. But that was his understanding. And what he did was he burnt his own house. अपना घर जला दिया. And with that, the book burned down. So when Padmapadacharya came, he saw that and he was worried and he said, what happened? So he said, no harm was done, but your book is gone. So he said, no worries, no problem. The book is here in my head. So that is how they remembered. They knew that with sadhana, your mind becomes so brilliant and so sharp that the knowledge has to be produced from your inside your mind. So it doesn't go away. So that is why if we read and understand something, it will stay with us. Right? That is why teachers, they ask you questions. So that when you answer them, you will remember that. Something that you have done practically, something that you have recited or understood, or say some teacher tells you to give a lecture on that, what you have learned. So once you give that lecture, you will never forget that topic. So that is how it was. So same thing happened here with Padmapadacharya. He had written this book. This book was lost. So he thought, I will write it again. Now this Mamaji was worried. So what he did was he poisoned him. He poisoned him with some kind of drug whereby his memory was lost. And therefore that word was lost. So Padmapadacharya went back and he said to his guru that this has happened, so and so. I don't remember anything now. So Shankaracharya said, don't worry, whatever you recited to me, I remember. So he recited it back and Padmapadacharya wrote it down again because he couldn't remember now. And therefore that first part only survives. How much is true is irrelevant, how much is irrelevant, but this is the story behind it. So this story shows how that through sadhana, whatever we inculcate, whatever we make part of our being, जो हम जिसको हम अपना बना लेते हैं, वो फिर कहीं जाएगा नहीं. And that should be the target of our sadhana. So in sadhana, what is the we see that in Vedanta we have seen in Tattva Bodh also that there is the sadhan chatushta sampatti. Yeah, that is the main basic of sadhana. And the other sadhana variant is described in the Yoga Sutras, where we have the Ashtang Yoga sadhana. So if you just look at the Vedantic one, I'll just write it down. So the fourfold parts are Vivek, Vairagya, then Sadhan, Shadha, Sampatti. I'm just writing so you'll remember better. And then Mumukshutva. Right, so mumukshutvam. So these are the four essential parts. Right. So out of these, we know that vivek is the ability to discriminate between what is real and what is unreal. Huh? So sat asat vivek. That is the we have to discover that this world is changing. My body is also changing, but I, the constant soul behind it, is not changing. I am changeless. Therefore, I have to hold on to that which is non-changing. That is sat. And therefore, Vivek helps us to analyze. It gives us the analytical power to understand what is my true being. We saw that whole analysis about how consciousness is the soul entity, the soul reality. So that is the first purpose of sadhana. I should have a basic knowledge of my scriptures through which I am able to understand my goal. I should realize it and apply it to my daily living. So the next step is Vairagya. So Vairagya is understanding that this whole world is changing. All the objects are here today. They will not be there tomorrow. So I don't have to hold on to them. So as I said, in sadhana, you don't have to run away from the world. You have to understand that yes, this has all been manifested according to the divine plan. So I enjoy whatever is available to me in the maximum way possible. I should not sit around and lounge about in my house and always bury my heads into books and get away from the people around us. Yeah. So I should learn to enjoy whatever situations God has given me, enjoy the objects that God has given without being tied down by them. That is Vairagya. Vairagya is not being affected when they leave me. No, कोई भी वस्तु मुझसे छूट गई देनी पड़ी. So in that way, and I should also not be worried that if I am not able to acquire something that I desire truly, I should not be worried. Everything will come in time. So Bhagwan says in the Gita also. So there also he says that whatever you do, whatever karma you do, ma, you don't worry about the fruit. Karma nivadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phal hetu bhu mate sangost vikarmani. So whatever you do, your only right is to keep doing your karma in the best way possible. Don't worry about the result. Leave that result to me because whatever is due to you, it will come on its own. So that is that is also a key component of Vairagya, where I learn to dissociate myself for any kind of binding that the objects of the world around me can impose on me. So once this binding I can conquer, once this binding I can rise above, then this Vairagya will help me to go beyond that. And then Mumukshutvam is the desire for liberation, the desire for leaving behind the bindings of this world, reaching out to my higher nature, reaching out to eternal permanent release. So normally what we are doing, we are generating infinite desires every day, every second. So if those desires are made, then they will fructify at the right time. So some may fructify in this janma, in this birth, but others will pass on to the next birth, right? So therefore, I have to understand that holding on to these desires is pointless because they give me joy for a short period and they go away. And therefore, I have to go beyond. I have to rise to the highest point, right? So therefore, I have to go and realize those desires uh, as something that is available temporary to be enjoyed at that moment, but not be bound by them. Uh, in essence, the higher version of Vairagya. In between is this sadhan shat sampatti. So this is the process that we are going to be following when we are going to uh, purify my mind to reach that higher stages. Whatever are advocated in this Vivek, Vairagya, and Mumukshutvam, the sixfold wealth. Sampatti is wealth, but this is the inner wealth. This is the inner wealth. So this inner wealth I have to keep cultivating, because the more I cultivate, the more I will be able to be in control of myself, more productive I will be, and the more knowledge I will learn in the uh, way that is beneficial to the maximum number of people. So therefore, through all of these sadhanas, we are trying to raise ourselves beyond the bindings that the world places upon us. So every day, whenever you go the spiritual path, no, people will try to obstruct you because you are rising higher than them. So they will be jealous. So they will pull you back. The world will also try to pull you back, right? Because the world is made to keep you trapped in its cycle forever. But if I enter into this world with the knowledge, and then with the full freedom, I will be able to operate. I don't have to run away. I will be able to operate in the world with freedom if the objects of the world cannot bind me. Right. So for that, we enter into this sadhan shat sampatti. So where out of this is uh, shama. Out of these six, Shama, Dhamma, Rati, all this we have seen in Tattva Bodha. So that is why I'm keeping it a bit short. Anyone wants to know more, they can ask. You can ask at the end of the class also. Right. So in order for my mind to be pure enough, I have to learn to control the mind. So Shama is the first part. My mind is constantly running after the different objects of the world. So therefore, if I have to loosen the power that they have over me, I should have control in my mind, and that control should be based on the fact that all these objects are temporary. Nothing can hold, nothing need to be held on to forever. So I must not fall into their trap. I must enjoy them in whatever potential they are able to give me, but not become slaves to them. Right? Most of the time, we do something to empower us. We enter into some kind of worldly, you can say, transaction, or we use some kind of instrument, and that instrument we use to make things easier for us. But what that does is it makes our dependence on them. Right? The more we use the something to write on a computer or whatever, we are forever dependent on that. Some people today, they will be dependent on AI for getting their information. So anything that they want to learn, or when they want to know about, they will go to that. Even creating a small simple task, they will go to AI. So therefore, and it will impair their ability. So to strengthen myself, I have to reduce my dependence, use the tools to help you in the best way possible, but not be forever dependent on that. That is Shama. So in Shama, I have to strengthen my mind so that my inner resolve is not weakened by the objects. So we are like the mobile. It is so much beneficial to us. There are so many good ways we can use it. But we all become slaves to the attractions that are built into it, right? We waste a lot of time. We have all felt that, experience that. So, for true Shama, I have to learn to treat everything as an instrument. Even this mind is an instrument, the final instrument for reaching the knowledge of the highest self. Without a purified mind, the mind it cannot reach for the highest knowledge, atmagyanam, right? So therefore, for the mind to reach there, we have to understand that it has to be very, very pure. So in Kathopanishad classes also we saw Shurasya dhara nihita duratya. This walking this path is like walking on a razor's edge. So therefore, we have to tread very carefully. So therefore, we have to purify the mind so that it doesn't uh, go off this path. We have to stay on this path so that we can control it and not let the mind control us. Usually, what happens is mind controls us. So we are eating, we are writing something or doing something, some work, and suddenly we feel an urge to, do something, watch a movie or some kind of thing that we had put off, and we stop our work. So therefore, sadhana involves letting I have to let myself focus. So wherever I put the good of more people in front of me, there only my sadhana will help. Otherwise, it will be negative. You can apply it like anywhere, even if in your job or corporate world or wherever you are. So there, if you attain some kind of perfection, then you will be given more responsibility. You will be given more power. Right? So the more responsibility you take up, you will the more power you will have. So with when you take great responsibility, you are given great power. It happens everywhere, wherever, in the family, in all our transactions in the world, and the same thing applies with nature also. So when we are willing to do great things, when we are willing to do more for other people, when we are able to take more responsibilities, then nature also supports us. So another component of Shama is contributing more to the society around us. That helps us have a more calm mind. Remember that a lot of times when your mind is disturbed, no, it is only because I have not done something the right way. My interactions with other people were not correct. My activities were not beneficial to the people around me. I did something that hurt someone. That will contribute to mental instability. So therefore, my actions should always be with the good of all the people around me. I should not do anything that should be harmful towards any of the people or the beings or nature around me. You drop some garbage on the street. So if your mind is refined, it will trouble you. Oh, I should not have done that. I will not do it next time. If possible, let me go and clean it. If someone else is spreading that, then I should be very, very tuned enough. We stopped learning our shastras. No? Those who learn the shastras, they will never have this kind of clean. Our house is perfectly clean, but our surroundings are not clean. Why? Because that samskara is not built into us. No. So therefore, for that samskara to be built into us, we have to have that discipline whereby we can always uh, fine tune our mind to see what needs to be done. That is Shama. Right? Then we have Dhamma. So Dhamma is controlling the organs, sense organs. So my sense organs are forever going out to the objects of the world. I seek to enjoy more and more things. So therefore, that enjoyment leads to a kind of same way like the mind is our instrument, the sense organs also are our instruments. The mind is, you can say, the primary instrument, the one that takes information from all the five, and the sense organs are the secondary. But in another way, you can say the sense organs are also the primary because they are the ones who come in direct contact with the objects. So therefore, Dhamma represents letting my sense organs stay controlled. I don't listen to things that are not needed by me. I don't watch those movies which will only disturb my mind and create kind of negativity within me. I restrain myself from doing any kind of things that will uh, create negativity or harm things around me. So therefore, Dhamma will involve connecting to the right Vishaya, connecting to the right sense object, doing only those activities which are healthy for the sense organs. And of course, reduce as much as possible. The more you do too much interaction, the more some of those interactions will be negative, and they will worry us. And that will lead us to Uprati. Next one. So uprati is rising above. Rising above. I train my mind to rise above. Remember that whenever you are watching something as an observer, then you are and you are not emotionally embroiled or involved in that situation. You will be more objective. You will be more objective. आप उसको और अच्छे से सीख पाओगे, उसको और अच्छे से कर पाओगे, right? So therefore we have to be very very observant of the situations around us to rise above without any kind of involvement, huh? So in the tattva bodha, if you remember, what is uprati, swadharme anushtane, so I should be uh, established in doing my own duty. जो मेरी ड्यूटी है उसको सीरियसली करता रहूं, बाकी चीजों में ना पड़ू. So I uprati involves strict adherence to my own duty. So with that I will be able to be objective about everything in the world. I will not be worried about what kind of result my action there will produce. I will be able to analyze everything in the best way possible. So that is another aspect of the mind which helps me be more clear in my duty, my objectives, my path. Right. So that what does that involve? No? Everything that happens around you. You just try. Initially, you might make a mistake. Okay. Initially, you might make a mistake while doing something. You may react. You may react in the wrong way. You may do something wrong. As we saw earlier also, your morning and evening sadhana should be about meditation. The morning sadhana about whatever scriptural knowledge you have learned. Focus on that, fix that in your mind. And the evening sadhana about what I did in the day. So there you will naturally, your mind will be disturbed about the wrong things you do. You don't have to think too much about that. It will come. And then you analyze. Then you analyze, how could I have done this better? Right. So that is the essential part of this uprati also. So there you analyze what you did, what better way you could have done it. Did I do what I am supposed to do, or did I do what someone else was supposed to do? And so did I move away from swadharma? So whatever my dharma I have to do, in if there is someone else doing someone else's dharma and there is something it is harming the creation, then I have to objectively analyze. I have to stop. I have to not let that person do that. Hmm. So with this mental clarity, we become very clear about what is to be done, right? And because we have reduced our attachment through vairagya in this sadhana paddhati, so it doesn't mean that I give away everything. It doesn't mean that जो भी जो ले जाए मैं उसको ले जाने दूं. Because I have become empowered through my sadhana to give to those who need. So मेरे पास I have earned a lot. I will keep whatever minimum is needed to me, but the rest, it doesn't mean a thief will come. I will let him take it away. It doesn't mean someone is forcefully taking away some of my stuff, or someone is even mentally manipulating me or emotionally manipulating me, and I will let that person take away my whatever is my right. I will not let that person do that. I will choose where to give. So therefore, this uprati doesn't mean being totally removed from reality and let everything go on in its own way. It should be objectively being able to analyze everything and objectively trying to solve, right? So therefore, with this uprati, I get the emotional stability with which to interact in all situations. Now, how will that emotional stability come? Titiksha. Titiksha is Shitoshna Sukh Dukh Sahatvam. So it represents not being troubled by the ups and downs of life, the lows and the highs of life. So there, Sheet and Ushna are given the ability to bear heat and cold. So that is at the physical level. And then Sukha and Dukh is the mental level. So at two levels, this Titiksha will operate. So if I have to have uprati, the ability to be observant without any kind of disturbance in my mind, my mind should be strong. This is tapas, this is sadhana, this is getting into that state of mind whereby nothing can bother me too much. So बहुत गर्मी है, कोई problem नहीं है. थोड़ी देर बैठ जाऊंगा, मैं मर तो नहीं जाऊंगा. If I too much heat, then I can just learn to bear the heat. So Swami Anukulanandji there was there. He initially he went to the Gurukulam, and he reached a place in Bihar where he had to sit in the heat. He got so bothered by the heat, he was not used to it from where we came from. So what he did was every day he would sit in the sun and he would do a yajna with a full fire, blazing fire. And after some time, it so happened that when he went back to the ashram, he would feel cool. He would feel like he had come to a very cool place. So therefore, that heat stopped bothering him. So I have to strengthen myself. मेरी क्षमता को बढ़ाना पड़ेगा. I have to increase my ability to bear things, my ability to not let things bother me. So it can be at the physical level, learn to bear heat, cold, and all other variations of climate and the situations around us, traveling on a rough terrain, whatever kind of ups and downs life brings to me. So I increase. And the more I increase, the more my freedom increases, the more my power increases. If I can run 1 mile today, I keep running. Then next day I can run maybe another 100 meters extra, another, and so on. So the more I increase, the more my stamina, my strength, my power increases. So just like my physical power, my physical stamina increases, same way my mental power also increases when I learn to be in the state of what we call samatvam, in the state of mental balance. In when I am confronted with the sukha and dukha, the joys and sorrows of this life. Because everything is temporary. आज है, कल नहीं रहेगा. Today we have it, tomorrow it will not be there. Or whatever time limit for that situation is there. No situation is permanent. And remember, we discussed this earlier also, that in later times it is those moments where we had problems. We went to a mountain, we went trekking and we got trapped and there was no food or water, and they become those tough times, how we survived, they become our favorite memories. They become the times that we remember with more fondness. We don't remember the casual lazing about, we went to a trip and we just lazed around and slept and didn't do anything. No, we remember the tough times. So they are our real experiences. They are our real character building objects. So therefore, titiksha helps me to build a mind that is strong and that is variegated, that has different experiences, and yet through all those experiences, it is able to remain stable. It is able to remain calm. It is able to remain in that situation of perfect mental balance, right? So whatever we do, so if we learn to enjoy our life this way, we learn to not be, we will, there are, if you go to any trip or any kind of traveling, so a lot of people are always complaining. I didn't get a proper seat in the flight. I didn't get a good seat in the bus. The hotel is not good. So they will not be able to enjoy. They will go back with all that negativity only. And that will become their memory. So what will happen is they will stop doing these kind of activities next time. They will uh, stop being adventurous. So whenever we go out, that adventure, that feeling of newness should always follow with us. Na? So therefore, if I have titiksha, the person with titiksha can enjoy any situation. He can have fun in most of the situations that are happening. Even in the tough situations, he can navigate through them without getting bogged down. हँसेगा नहीं वो. So that titiksha will make that person's mind impervious to these external disruptions. Now, what is the next? Shraddha. So, when we are on this path, so Shraddha is never blind faith. Remember that. Our Shraddha is a very, very, very high word. It is not describable in English by a single word or even 10 words. Shraddha, one description is that when you come to an obstacle, Shraddha is it's like there is a ditch, and the Guru says you have to jump over this ditch. So you close your eyes and you jump over it. You put your full effort because the Guru knows your potential more than even you know, and you will find that you have crossed that. So all the obstacles that come in your life, you have to be have to have the confidence. Shraddha is more of having a confidence in my own abilities that I will be able to navigate. I will be able to follow this path without any kind of uh, uh, disturbance in my mind or any kind of dilly-dallying. So because of that dilly-dallying, I will always be, I will not be able to move a step forward. So therefore, and that Shraddha should also involve my faith in the Guru. So that Shraddha means does not mean I blindly trust the Guru. Uh, I will follow the Guru, and I will analyze what he's teaching, and I will try to follow. Wherever I don't understand, I will ask. I will ask. So that is the Shraddha in the Guru. So Guru Shastra Shraddha is said to be the main component of going into spiritual study. So if Shastra, if I don't understand the basic concept of Shastra, I will in between only leave. I will not complete my studies because I will start doubting. Right. So in all our scriptural knowledge, what is the basic Shraddha that we should have? That whatever the texts are saying, it is true. Even if two seemingly opposite statements are being said. Viruddha hai, virodhabhas hai. There is some opposition, and yet they are true. So that happens because you learn that every sentence can be true in different situations. Or sometimes two seemingly opposite statements can be true because we are not understanding the nature of that higher state whereby we are applying it to our normal living. Right. So if in the Ishavasya Upanishad, we see that Atma is being described. So where is it is being said in the same sentence. In the same sentence, it is being said tat ejati tat na ejati. ये आत्मा चलता भी है और नहीं भी चलता है. So what you will get confused. So there this Shraddha is very, very key component that it will help you understand. So if you understand that this Atma is all pervading, it is everywhere. So therefore it can reach anywhere without moving. So Tat Ejati, it can go anywhere it wants to. And Tat Na Ejati, because it doesn't need to move. It doesn't need to. So there the normal worldly logic will not work. So we have to go there for a higher logic. We have to go there for a higher logic. And that higher logic, the Shastra itself will teach. So the Shraddha will get me through that phase. It will get me through that phase of doubt whereby I'm not able to understand. Any Shastra, it is always there for what purpose? For me to rise higher, for me to learn something good and how I can apply. So if I enter into Shastra with fault finding mode, which is what is the critical analysis of Western studies. So in that critical analysis, they being critical is not a problem. Being critical becomes a problem when you are always looking only for the fault. You are not looking for what positive I can gain for that from this. So any Shastra, I can challenge you. Any Shastra that people abuse, be it be Manusmriti, be it be any of the Puranas, any kind of stories, wherever they find something wrong, wherever in the Ramayana also, in Mahabharata, so many things, they disturb the sensibilities of people. But if you have the right Shraddha, you can understand and apply it for your good, each and every line of Shastra, each and every line. Once you go into this study, you will realize that this Shraddha can get you to uh, derive positivity, derive a positive outcome from any kind of study. Any kind of study. So that is the key component of Shraddha. Guru Shastra, Guru Vedanta Vakya Vishwas is enumerated in the Tattvabodh. We saw there. But you can apply it to anything. You are studying physics, you are studying chemistry, whatever subject you are studying. If you don't have faith in the teacher, you think the teacher is stupid, then you will never learn. You think you know too much, you will never learn. The ego has to be totally given up if you are going into this path of sadhana. So that ego, if as long as it is there, it will obstruct you. You will not be, for a student, teacher says something that you don't agree with, you will spend the rest of the class thinking about that part and not about what is coming next. आप वेस्ट कर दोगे अपनी पूरी क्लास को. You will waste your whole class. Why? Because Shraddha is not there. So have patience. Shraddha involves patience also, a lot of patience. That is why I said no, it cannot be described in one word. Shraddha is a magical word. It is the core. It is the basis of all our shastras, or basic of all scriptural study. So without Shraddha, Shraddha is not at all blind belief or blind faith or andhavakta or whatever the words that are used for those who go into this scriptural study. It involves looking for something positive, looking for a higher logic in what we are studying so that we can derive maximum benefit. The persons who are spiritual, the persons who go into Shastra, they will always have a more positive and a better outlook in life than a person who is selfishly embroiled in only fulfilling his basest desires. That is what most of us are. That is why most of us, we don't have contact with Shastra for so many years. I was always also the same. So now, slowly with study, it's building up. I'm getting to know more things that I could have learned in my earlier age. I wasted my time. So we have to start at an early age. Start teaching your kids. Start teaching the people around you, and then this will become, a part of our all our society. So when the Britishers came, what did they do? They had to break this. Knowledge that exists at the conceptual level, that is not there just in the books. So what they did, they translated our books into English, and they made us dependent on English. Even today I am explaining this into English. But see, if you know Sanskrit, if you know the original language, a lot of the understanding that is being taught here will become easier for you if you know the essence of those words. Yeah, but we have also, there are a lot of scriptures that have been translated into Hindi, into English, and other Indian languages. But there are a lot of untranslated ones. In fact, more of them which are translated only into Sanskrit. So there, this tough Sanskrit is translated into more easy Sanskrit. So, but if you know Sanskrit, you can navigate through them very, very easily. But if you try to use another language, then it will add to your burden. So you will need more time to study that same kind of knowledge. So therefore, if you know the original language, it becomes easier. So what is the best bet now? We lost a lot of our scriptural knowledge because it was translated into their terms. So what we can do is now translate it into our terms. I understand these terms that they have multiple dimensions. एक ही उसका अर्थ नहीं है, उसके बहुत सारे अर्थ हैं. So because Sanskrit also, no, there is a dhatu, there is a root word, and through that root word you can derive multiple meanings. So we have to focus on the root. And once the root is understood, then we can see, yes, this root can be applied in so many ways. I give so many examples, like the word of go. So go represents light, a ray of light. So it signifies knowledge. But that same go, when is applied, it also means the sense organs, because the sense organs are said to give us the knowledge about the world. बस जो भी ज्ञान हमें मिलता है, इन इन ज्ञान इंद्रियों से मिलता है. So in that sense, they are the go. And then because that light is of white color, so you apply it to the animal that is white or has more of sattva guna, the calm animal, the cow. So there you used for the cow. So therefore, one word can have multiple meanings where it is applied. So therefore, same thing we have to have with the Shastra also, Shraddha. Hmm. And then finally, Samadhanam. So Samadhanam is, I become totally focused or become understanding. Samyak adhiyate. Samadhanam. So I always try and get into that mode where this knowledge becomes a part of my being. Knowledge becomes a part of my being. So therefore, Samadhanam will involve getting fixed in that knowledge. Another aspect of this is Samadhi, which is covered in the Yoga Sutras. So this Samadhanam will take us to that state where that knowledge becomes internalized, that knowledge becomes a part of my being, knowledge becomes my natural behavior. So therefore, this I has to constant. So whatever I constantly practice, it will always be available to me. Like, for Karna, he achieved his knowledge in the wrong way. So therefore, he was given a shrap by Parshurama. So he forgot that knowledge at the right time, at the time when it is needed. You can say the time when it was really required. And therefore, he died because of that. So therefore, Samadhanam means that knowledge should become a part of my knowledge should become a part of my being, my part. That knowledge should become an essential component of my behavior. So once I hold on to this, I will be able to make myself a more rounded, a more well-informed individual who will be able to navigate this world and also move out of this world through that final goal, which is the final goal of all. These are all our all our purusharthas. We have dharma, artha, kama, and moksha. These are the four goals of life. Out of that, the highest is moksha. So for reaching that moksha means that I don't want to be born again into this world. It should not be a wish. It should be understanding of my nature that I am infinite. So therefore, I was never born. I am never born, and I never will be born again. If I give up this ignorance that I am this body. So because of my wrong notion, I got trapped into this body. So now I make the best use of this body with the time when it is conditioned into a certain time sphere. And but I am actually beyond time. I am the Atma. I am infinite. So I cannot be limited to a time. So that thing we have seen in this Kathopanishad lectures also. So you can go back there and study, or you can, of course, go back to the Tattva Bodha lectures. So Tattva Bodha, you can skip the first two where did a detailed description of all our scriptural wealth. So let it not overwhelm you. But in the rest of that, we have covered that. So all of these sadhanas, they take us to that higher state where we can perfect the mind, right? So now once that perfection comes, I am a more rounded individual. Now, this perfection, it has so many other intermediate steps. So we have to remember that in that path we can take help of other scriptures also. We can, but basics, the basic structure is built on all of these only: vivek, vairagya, mumukshutvam, and sadhan, shat sampatti. So all of these are the most essential or basic variants. But if we can go into how we reach into the state of Vivek and Vairagya through this Shama, Dhamma, Prati, etc., that is further subdivided in by the Yoga Sutras, which give us further variants. Huh? So in Yoga Sutras, we have the Ashtang Yoga. Ashtang Yoga principle. So through that Ashtang Yoga, we can enter into that. So this will not cover today because time is not much. So we can look it into the next class. But it basically represents the eightfold path by which you can rise to your perfect yourself into the highest nature. So Ashtang Yoga is Yama, Niyam, Asan, Pranayam, Pratyahar, Dhyan, Dharana, Samadhi. So all of these have further other divisions also. So all those divisions are then subsequently practiced one by one so that we can reach that state of mental perfection in our life journey. So we can build on those principles, we can study them, apply them. Like, just let me explain with a short example, just one small thing. So whenever you are doing dhyanam, any meditation, what is the essential component of that Vedantic meditation? Firstly, I have to relax my mind. I have to remove all the disturbing thoughts, right? And therefore, then I have to focus finally on that highest knowledge, the highest knowledge. So that highest knowledge is Tattvamasi or Aham Brahmasmi, whatever the Mahavakyas I use to tell me that my true nature is something above and beyond this worldly reality. So that is the final stage of that journey. So for all of the on all in that state, so whatever path I choose, I have to use all of these yama, niyam, asan, pranayam for attaining that stage of stability. For attaining that stage of stability of the mind. So all of these, when I use in my path, they become aids towards perfecting myself in a more easier way, more proper way. So therefore, I have to use whatever tools are given to me by Shastra to improve my power, improve my mental power. So whatever I can do in that respect, it will guide me towards reaching for that higher state, right? So we'll wind up from here. We'll continue more of this in the next class. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Om Tat Sat.